It's time to harvest potatoes. Depending on the time elapsing from sowing to harvest, potatoes are divided into very early, medium, and late varieties, i.e. the main crop. The potato growing season usually lasts from 3 to about 4.5 months. We can use the so-called young potatoes at the end of June, about 90 days from planting. We harvest them when the green parts begin to bloom, carefully selecting the largest tubers, but do not uproot the bush or dig it up. We simply pick up the young potatoes and the plant stays in the soil, grows, matures and produces potatoes for the main crop. Leave the main crop in the ground as long as possible. It is best to wait until the above ground parts dry themselves, then at least 2 weeks after such a process, you can dig up the potatoes for winter storage. You can also cut the haulms, i.e. above ground parts of the potato, in late summer and leave the tubers in the ground for another 2 weeks to harden them. Depending on the variety, dig out potatoes from mid-August to the end of September. If you want to pick new potatoes, remove the mound and carefully pick out the tubers with a pitchfork or a shovel. We take out the largest tubers, and then fill the holes so that the yield increases over time. We always dig up late potatoes on dry and sunny days. The soil should have a temperature higher than 10 degrees Celsius and must not be wet. Otherwise, the potatoes are at risk of damage and rotting, and the accuracy of the harvest is reduced. If there is no fear of frost, the digging out can be postponed even until October 10th in the case of late varieties. To see if the potatoes are ready for digging, we check whether the skin of a mature tuber wears off under the pressure of the thumb, and the above ground part of the plant begins to die. After digging the tubers, we do not wash them, but leave them in the sun for about 2 hours to dry. But no longer, because they will start to turn green. We reject green potatoes. They must not be eaten. It is better to get rid of them, because the solanine, or glycoalkaloid, contained in them is poisonous. About 5 to 10 potatoes can be harvested from one plant. Watch out for mechanical damage, which intensifies bacterial infections and causes large losses in crops. It is best to use a wide digging fork, not a thin one, which is inserted about 30 centimeters from the bush and pushes the tubers to the surface. It's good when the forks have a foot on the top, thanks to which the digging process is very comfortable. When harvesting for storage, remove symptomatic tubers from the harvest to avoid the spread of the disease. If you have the conditions, store potatoes in the basement or pantry, where the temperature oscillates around 15 degrees Celsius and is dry. The optimum temperature for storing potatoes is 7 to 10 degrees Celsius. Keep the potatoes in a paper bag or cover them with parchment paper. Plastic bags or sacks are conducive to mold growth. Wet rot of potato tubers develops very quickly in mounds, cellars, and storage rooms where the temperature is too high or the air humidity is too high. Green leafy vegetables such as spinach and kale or lettuce can be sown on a potato patch. Onions, garlic, beans will do great, which will also enrich the soil with nitrogen. Also good are green peas, parsnips, radishes, turnips and beets.